Hey YouTube family, I'm Nancy Edwards, and in my career I have transacted more than $300 million in real estate. And today's video is all about the other stuff you can do besides fix and flip. Now, we're going to talk about in this video passive ways to invest. And passive is actually defined by the IRS as anything that produces interest, dividends, rents, royalties, or capital gains. And in layman's terms, what that will actually mean to us is we just wait for the checks to come in the mail, right? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to discuss are tax liens, and in some states they are called tax deeds. I was talking about that in another video where one of my subscribers had asked me about something and I just explained the whole tax lien, tax deed thing. But basically, a tax lien or tax deed is created when one does not pay their taxes and the county sells them off. You as an investor have an opportunity to buy those taxes for a specific and designated rate of return, anywhere between 18 and 25%. And if the homeowner doesn't redeem, then you get the property free and clear. So that is number one, the safest way to invest in real estate, and it is a very passive activity. Number two, private money lending. That would include syndications, which is essentially crowdfunding, joint venture equity splits, and that's where you actually partner with someone and say, hey, you do all of the work, I'll put up the cash, we split the profits. That's very profitable. If you were to be a bank to the investor, that's another way. So you are straight up giving funds to, say, wholesalers. And I think that that's highly recommended because if you give a wholesaler funds, it's very transactional. They give that money back very quickly. It actually doesn't hit the wholesaler's hands. And typically it's like for double closings, or you can probably give the wholesaler money for down payments or something like that on the properties until they secure the buyer. However, that is a very quick and easy way for you to bankroll an investor without going into the property too much or going into the deal too long. Now, here's where it's longer, where you are bankrolling a fix and flipper. So you are essentially the bank and you give someone the actual monies to purchase the property and or to fix it up. Now here, you're not actually doing a joint venture equity split. You are just getting a designated return on your investment, whatever it is that you and that particular flipper works out. So that is private money. Now, if we talk about investing in institutions, you can do real estate mutual funds. And that's pretty good because that's where larger companies, say, pool their money from various investors to purchase like a diversified portfolio of real estate. They may own the company itself, that may put into the mutual fund commercial real estate, residential real estate, just a portfolio of real estate, and you would be given a designated return, say 8 to 10% on your funds. It's passive, but it is in fact investing. Another way to invest, let me see my notes here. Oh, I have REITs. So REITs are also, that's the acronym REIT is a real estate investment trust. Now, it's a little bit different from a mutual fund in that the company that establishes the REIT owns only income producing real estate. And in a REIT, you can actually own a part of the company or have a share, and you also can split the equity or participate in the equity. So unlike a mutual fund where you just get your percentage of return on your cash invested, like 8 or 10%, the REIT, you can say, hey, I want, X amount of percentage of ownership and I want to share in the equity at the end of the day. So that's a great way to invest in real estate. That is passive and also institutional. Now, we're going to get into some of the good stuff. One that I know everybody is on the bandwave about right now, which are vacation rentals. Vacation rentals are awesome. Obviously, that's a very, let's see, would I call it, I won't call it a significant way of upping the profits on a single family home, but it is definitely very creative and you would get more money than you would if you were just renting, say long-term rental. Obviously, that's another way to invest in real estate, but vacation rentals are hot. Another vacation rental program that you can get into, which is also passive, is glamping, and that is glamorous camping. Now, I know I don't want to go and sit in nobody's park and deal with snakes and mice and mosquitoes and all kinds of stuff. No, my kids like camping. I don't like camping. I glamp. So if you have a nice tent, and that's a very inexpensive way to get into it too, because tents aren't that expensive. You can get into glamping for under $10,000 or thereabout. But if you have a really nice tent, hey, I'm your girl. I'm the one renting the tent. I am not staying in no little thing on the ground and where people and bugs can eat me. That is not what I'm doing. So glamping is a great way to invest passively in the vacation rental market. Now let's see. Now we're going to talk about standard buy and holds. Standard buy and holds are when you just get an apartment or a home and you rent it out long term. But then I've got something for you guys. Have you thought about investing in mobile home parks? Mobile home parks are like ridiculous in terms of profitability. Now, I'm not talking about landlord and trailers, people, but what we do is we buy the whole park. And guess what? We collect lot rents. And that is a very, very passive way of investing. It also allows for you to not have to deal with the toilets or anything like that. Now, clearly by osmosis, you're going to, if you own a trailer park, you will eventually start to acquire park-owned homes, because if persons are say renting a trailer and they bring it there to the lot, or if they purchase, there are times when people get into problems with their trailers, just like homeowners get into problems with their homes, and it's actually more expensive to move a trailer than to buy a trailer, depending upon where you're moving it. So sometimes people opt to leave the trailer and then they just bounce from the park. Well, that's when you personally acquire the trailer. So there are times when you will acquire a trailer, but what you don't want to do is buy a trailer park that is loaded down with park-owned homes, because then you're landlording trailers. You don't want to do that, I'm telling you. But if you go with single-family residences, they typically produce, and guys, I'm only talking about straight up buy and hold, traditional, passive rental income. 1.5% is single family homes. That's the positive cash flow you're going to get. So say, for example, the home is worth $100,000. You'll get 1.5% of that, or $1,500 a year in positive cash flow, unless you do something creative like vacation rental, short-term rental. Obviously there you get more, or you do student housing, or you come up with some creative way to actually have that property produce additional income. But just straight up 30 days, regular long-term rentals, the average is 1.5 PCF, or positive cash flow. When you get into multifamilies, the PCF goes up a bit to 3.5%. But trailer parks, it's like 25%. OMG. Can you imagine? Yes, 25% positive cash flow based on the purchase price and what the value of the park is, or the asset is. It's a way to invest, and it is passive, especially if you do not have any park-owned homes. If you strictly just invest in the dirt and get the lot rent, I'm telling you, it is extremely, extremely, extremely profitable. A lot of people that I personally know have made a good fortune investing in mobile home parks. And if you get a good one where everybody in that park owns their home, then you have a gold mine, because they take care of their homes just like, traditional homeowners, brick and mortar, take care of theirs. Especially when the trailers are skirted or they're made to appear to be non-movable. Oh, absolutely. They take very good care of their homes, and they pay their lot rent just like they pay their mortgages. Okay, so that's the tips for the day. We had a few ways to invest passively in real estate. There are others, but I wanted to address that today outside of any fix and flip or active activities. Next week, I'll post something else, and it might be just on active ways to invest, because there are several different ways to invest other than fix and flip. Or I may make a video on something. I don't know. But you'll hear from me again next week. Stay tuned. What you need to do with this video, if you like it, please like it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't shared any of my videos, share them. And I think that's it. See you next week.